I'm floating on the surface of the water where two humongous humpback whales, crisscrossed like swords, rested peacefully below. Their bodies expanded and collapsed as a chorus of powerful, complex sounds spilled into the vast ocean. The vibration jolted through my body, recalibrating my cells and awakening dormant parts of my soul. When they gracefully started to surface, our eyes met. Time stopped. I viscerally heard, "Just breathe." I simultaneously saw into the soul of the universe, the whale, and me. A life-changing moment. We have forgotten how to breathe, inhaling, exhaling, the pause in between, the simple action that sustains life. Yet, the life force of breath holds a power to transform us only if we allow it. It was February 2018, and I returned from the 5-day whale retreat in Hawaii, changed to the core, changed forever. I started walking in nature, meditating, and breathing intentionally. I felt a calmness I hadn't experienced before. I discovered innate wisdom was always accessible, only if I would just listen. But the biggest change of all was finding the courage to face that I was a perfectionist. I allowed the vulnerability in and examined my fear of failure, rejection, and the most monstrous of all, of not being enough. It was time to let go of my voracious need to control my preconceived, perfect outcomes. I knew I wanted to be free. 2020 had different plans. On March 2nd, 48 hours after I returned from vacation, I was lying next to my dad, tenderly rubbing his back, saying, "Just breathe." He took 3 breaths and surrendered to peace. Without question, he waited for me to help with his transition. A week later, the pandemic hit, canceling his funeral. Then my husband, who had narrowly survived a widowmaker heart attack, got COVID. He was bedridden for weeks. I was exhausted. I was scared. I crashed. A work leave of absence followed. I did not know how to heal. I had forgotten how to breathe. Shortly after I returned to work, I received an email regarding a humpback whale retreat in Moorea. It would be for a week in October when the whales migrate from Antarctica to the French Polynesian waters to give birth, an opportunity to be with mom and baby whales. I felt called to go to heal my heart. On the first day, it didn't occur to me to get a swim partner. After all, I am scuba certified, so I dropped into the water and began the football field length swim to the whales. But my stride was repeatedly interrupted to remove my snorkel and spit out salt water. Realizing there was no way I was going to make it, I turned around, deflated, to head back to the boat. But I swam much farther than I thought, and the number of boats had multiplied. I frantically waved my hands above my head, "Help, help!" but no one could see or hear me. My mind fixated on the 14-foot tiger sharks that could be lurking below. I started to panic, barely breathe. Was I going to die? Then a miracle. I heard, "Carol, are you okay?" and was escorted back to the boat, learning I had attached the snorkel's water reservoir upside down. I missed the first swim. That night, the group reconvened to share our experiences. I expressed my grief in missing out, disappointing myself, and of course, the loss of my dad. But I felt lighter, safer, held. I realized the power in being seen. I realized I didn't need to be perfect. The next day, I was so excited to be with the whales until we anchored. I was terrified to get in the water. Not something I am good at, I asked for help. The certified scuba diver accepted a pool noodle as a flotation aid. I sheepishly wrapped it around my waist, dropped into the water, and swam to the whales. When I looked down, I saw a baby whale with his fins spread out like angel wings rising to meet me. Light reflected off his snow-white belly as he playfully started to spin around. I realized I was getting close to his pectoral fin. This huge mammal quickly approached me, yet I had zero fear. I just figured I'd get out of the way, but the noodle had different plans. With pure intentions, the baby and I were in complete trust. Then it happened. My pelvic bone and his fin met with a soft bump. A physical and energetic connection of magical divine love. I was touched by a baby humpback whale. On the last day, I shed the noodle. But as our group approached, the whales decided to move. Noodle-free, I made the snap decision to follow the guide who swam after them. Just 3 days prior, I was terrified to get in the water, and now I swam for over 10 minutes into deep, deep ocean. It was exhilarating. Suddenly, in the distance, I see a huge vertically suspended black and white silhouette. It was the baby whale. As the light filtered in the water, I noticed a mysterious, thick, milky substance twirling like an unraveling hurricane directly above him. He swam up, opened his mouth, and swallowed it. He repeated this several times. It was like watching Pac-Man swallow the ocean. When I finally realized what was happening, I was overwhelmed with emotion. It was the baby nursing. An event to my knowledge has never been captured on film or rarely, if ever, seen. I witnessed the most intimate moment between a mom and baby. A gift, a blessing bestowed to me to share with the world because I found the courage to trust myself and just breathe. The breath, a sacred rhythmic dance connecting us to the heartbeat of the universe. My wish for the world is for us to slow down, be present, open our hearts, receive love, and embrace we are divinely perfect. Just breathe.